Welcome to the Imperishable Consciousness platform, where I'm your host, Adrian Camacho. I would like to thank you for your time, and I hope that you, the listener, are able to take something from today's episode that you can use and apply to your own life. Today is episode 3, which is being recorded on December 19th, 2023. I just want to start off by giving a special thank you to our guest, who is an artist, journalist, poet, local business owner, fellow Sigma Chi brother, and also a Loyola University Chicago graduate, Salvatore Ocello, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, everybody. How you doing,
You a
Adrian?
little closer?
Hello, everybody. How are you doing,
Yeah.
Adrian?
You
Thank
can move
for
the mic, by the
having me.
way. Sorry for not telling you, my bad.
Hello. Okay.
I apologize.
No, you're good.
Sorry.
Oh, hello, everybody. Thank you for having me, Adrian. Hope everyone is doing okay at home. I'm ready for a great conversation.
Thank you so much for joining us. First of all, I just want to really thank you for being one of the first, but many extremely special guests who will be joining us on the Imperishable Consciousness platform, where we look to inspire the younger generations while also recording and preserving modern history and stories. And just a little background for the viewers, kind of a funny story how we met. I don't know if you remember, but you dropped off some business cards of your business, sells slots, at our Sigma Chi house, and I think you gave them to Lenz Bernadelle, shout out Lenz, and he ended up bringing it up to the chapter, saying how there was a Sigma Chi brother who owned a business in Beloit, and it kind of came to my mind as like the philanthropy chair at the time, the kind of like the, what would you call it, fundraiser for charity. That's kind of what was kind of my role, was to fundraise for the charity, which was Huntsman Cancer Research Foundation. So I kind of had the idea to connect with Sal and try to set up a donation jar. So that's kind of how Sal and I met, and that's kind of how we built this connection. So I really thank you for joining us, and thank you for helping us with all your support for the Sigma Chi fraternity.
Yeah, no problem. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you for giving me a shot and coming in. I feel like it's been almost about a year at this point,
Yeah.
maybe even more, and I didn't even know that there was a Sigma Chi at Beloit College. And as soon as I found out, I was like, oh, yeah, I got to help do my part for these guys in this community as much as I can. Yeah, I remember making those flyers or business cards or whatever they were, and I was like, I have no idea where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to, give it a shot. I'm pretty sure I messaged some of your brothers on Instagram. And like I said, I appreciate you coming in that one day. It might have been, a little bit down the line, a couple months later, get the chapter thing settled. And I think we've done some good work. I have to drop off the donation jar, or at least give you that last thing of cash.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that support.
Anytime.
So just to start off, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you grew up, kind of like what kind of made you who you are today, and like what has like brought you here?
Yeah, of course. Like I said, Salvatore Ocello. I am 26 years old, born and raised in Belvidere, Illinois, and pretty much been here my entire life, besides when I went to college at Loyola, Chicago. But I am who I am because of my family, my parents, and the way they raised me, all the things they taught me. My family owned Bravo Pizza for a long time, and my dad's work ethic, my mom's work ethic, taught me everything. I definitely owe everything to them, and you learn a lot. You learn a lot just from watching other people work, and just by being by people.
Yeah.
You can't do anything without a village,
Yep.
As much as you think you can do it by yourself, you can't.
Yeah, exactly. And kind of going off that, like tell us a little bit about Salad Slots, like kind of what kind of gave you the idea and kind of how you've been able to put that into fruition and in motion in a sense.
Yeah. So, like I said, I born and raised in Belvedere. Growing up, watching my parents run the pizzerias and the restaurants, I was always like, I don't really think this is going to be something that I do. My dad even, I have 2 siblings, an older sister, younger brother, and my dad would always say, you guys don't want this life. You don't want to work every single day. You don't want the restaurant. You don't want the grind of owning your business like that. And, I kind of had that in my mind, but like deep tucked away, there was always something like, I could do something like that, but I, went to Loyola. I ended up studying English literature, drawing and painting, wanted to be a college professor.
Mhm.
And I didn't go to grad school. I got a job out of college as a tech recruiter, helping engineers get jobs. And that was going great until around 2020, until COVID happened. And then I just needed to change roles. And I figured I got to take what I did with the tech recruiting and, allocate all my funds to something else. And then that's when I was just realistically, what can I do?
Yeah.
What do I know how to do? I didn't want to jump into something that I had to, learn everything all over. So that was either a restaurant, maybe not a big pizzeria, but I was thinking like a sub type of place,
Yeah.
or just a slot parlor. And
Mhm.
realistically, the most realistic avenue was the slot parlor, and I decided to do that in like 2020. I remember like trying to file the LLC in like before Thanksgiving
Mhm.
of like 2020, and
Yeah.
it didn't get done until like January 2021, and then I didn't open until 2022. Like it took
Yeah.
a long time. So over that time, I had to, grind, make more cash, make sure I knew all the laws, filed all the paperwork.
Yeah.
That was the worst part.
Yeah.
Paperwork.
So kind of to go back to the first part, you kind of talked about your recruiting job. What kind of are you like? You were placed as a recruiter, I guess. What were some skills that you learned from that job, and how were you able to like apply them like nowadays? You know.
Yeah. We worked downtown Chicago, and it was like maybe two offices, Workbridge and Job Spring, both owned by the same parent company.
Mm-hmm.
But it was kind of like these two companies are gonna fuel competition between each other. So it was like 5 teams over here, 5 teams over here.
Yeah.
And I was on the DevOps team, help recruit DevOps engineers for jobs at places like Peapod or Cat Digital. And you always had to work in a team. You were always watched. And by that, I mean, like, you have to make calls. You have to do your work. No one is going to make you do your work,
Mm-hmm.
but, you have other people on your back. You have to do the work. And if you were afraid to do it, you either didn't last there or you learned,
Mm-hmm.
don't be afraid. Like there'd be times where they would say, we have to, we have to let people know we're doing a tech event, start calling people. And no one would do it. And then they'd start offering incentives like, oh, free lunch, whoever does the most calls.
Yeah.
Like if I had time, I'd be calling.
Exactly.
You call and you learn the ways that work for you on,
Yeah.
how to interact with people. And, I also learned a lot of customer relation management.
Yeah.
Like, let's say you want to recruit someone for a job, but they're already at a job and maybe their role doesn't finish for another 6 months. No one's telling you to call that guy in 5 months. Make yourself a note
Mm-hmm.
and call that guy. Maybe.
Yeah, that's a great idea for sure.
You just got to push yourself and, hopefully that team dynamic will help boost you up and you boost them up as well.
Yeah, exactly. And sorry, just one thing. If you want, you could adjust the stand so it moves closer from the top part right here. Yep.
Oh,
This was closer. I apologize. Just so we can make sure that we can hear you fully.
okay.
Yep. I think we hear you a lot better now. All right. And kind of going back to like what you were talking about, like the original journey for Sal Slots. You were talking about like filing the LLC and like doing all those things. Who were kind of like your support system and who kind of really guided you and I don't know, who would you really like to maybe give a shout out to in a sense, like, you know?
Oh man. Obviously my dad, because he's a restaurant owner and he always said like, I don't necessarily know how to run a bar. I don't know what kind of things you're going to necessarily need in stock
Mm-hmm.
or, the exact types of things you might need. But he always put me in contact with someone that would know, whether that was like, buying all the sinks or obviously, helping me find a good location. Shout out to my landlord, Bob C. Who else? I mean, every little person that helped me out along the way. I couldn't have done it by myself.
Yep.
Um, every single person in my family,
Yeah.
the lawyers that helped me file the LLC,
Yeah.
and all my employees, everyone.
Yeah. For sure. And one thing that you mentioned was selecting the location. So what kind of led you? So I think you said you're from Belvedere.
hmm
What kind of led you to choosing Beloit and specifically South Beloit and the location that you picked?
My family's pizza place, Bravo Pizza, we had one in South Beloit,
Yeah.
and I figured the pizza place is in one strip mall, and then right next door is another strip mall, which was almost completely empty.
Yeah.
There was Shorty's Kitchen there, great little restaurant, and a uh, Bridget's B. Bella Salon, hair salon, also a great place. And then there was a staffing agency, and there was still 3 spots there. The rent was low.
Mhm.
My family knew the landlord, and again, it was pretty much the realistic options. I don't think another landlord would have been as like receptive to like a first time business owner, but even Bob himself, self-made man, he's probably seen so many different businesses. He's probably looked and run so many different businesses. I appreciate him giving me a chance. And I saw him for the first time today in a long time, so it was nice to see him. And yeah, it's what else? I guess I kind of forgot the original question.
No, yeah, just selecting the location. You kind of went into like having the relationship with your landlord, and I feel like that's very a very crucial thing to have. My dad owns a restaurant of his own. It's in Rolling Meadows, Illinois. It's called Hickory Roasters. For those the viewers that don't know, he's had the same landlord the whole time that he's been there, and it's been very crucial, especially like through COVID, being very understanding and like you mean not knowing that you might not be able to make the payments on time or you know what I'm saying because obviously business isn't as good and people aren't even eating out and you have restrictions and you have to adapt as far because people couldn't eat in.
Can't eat in,
Yeah,
the inflation. I remember we
exactly.
cut like a whole portion of our menu just to
Yep.
chicken was like, you want to
Yep.
buy chicken wings? You're paying $10 per
Yeah.
wing. That's insane.
And ironically, my dad's restaurant is a chicken restaurant. They sell rotisserie chicken
Okay.
with wood roasted chicken, wood rotisserie. And so, yeah, a lot of things were very expensive at the time. And like they had to adapt by using like DoorDash, Grubhub, like all those things. Those things are very crucial things for a business to be able to do is you be able to adapt and be able to find different revenue sources and avenues. Um, But aside from that, it was also very difficult for my dad because he's also Hispanic. He's not the best at reading and writing, specifically in English. And so he kind of needed assistance doing all those things. So it's very important to keep that in mind to support local businesses, specifically minority ones, because, I mean, not to only support minority ones, but it could be specifically hard for those to start within the United States. And I think you're even Italian, so
Yep. Sicilian, Italian, 100%.
yeah, very proud, I'm pretty sure, right?
Very proud, yes.
Exactly, yeah. Um, so who has really helped you like grow and scale like sell slots? Would you say?
I would like to give a lot of shouts out and appreciation to Nicole, my girlfriend. She has been doing a lot at the bar lately. She curated our whole Christmas menu. So we've got like the frosted Santa hat cocktail in the martini
Yeah,
glass. We have the Grinch mocktail. We have the peppermint teeny. Yes, she's been doing great.
yeah,
Very creative, and you can really show that she really shows that she cares when she works, which is awesome. And then my only other employee is Cheyenne, and she's been with me since day one, and she was a friend of a friend. So I'd like to thank Kaylin as well, who introduced me to Cheyenne, and she's there right now. 6 to close.
yep,
She's watching things. I know that I don't ever have to worry when she's there. If something goes wrong, she'll let me know. But I also know that she can take care of it herself. So that is fantastic. I am probably going to give her a raise after the new year. So if you hear that, it'll be a surprise.
yeah. But yeah, that's another thing that's very important to have is like a business owner is reliable, like staff and employees that you can really depend on and really trust. Because like one thing that's very hard for a business owner is to be able to leave their business. Like my dad and my mom used to co-own the restaurant, and one of them was there all the time. So for example, like it's very hard for some people to find people that they trust. They specifically sometimes look for family members or close friends. So it's very important that you've been able to find people that you can rely on. My next question would be like how many coworkers or employees do you have that you kind of like currently employ with your business?
Yeah, we are. I don't want to say skeleton crew because the slot parlor's low maintenance. It's
Exactly.
me. I'm the one that's mostly there, and then Cheyenne, and then Nicole, and then my friend's sister used to work for me, Jenna, but she actually just got a job at a hospital, 9 to 5. So um, it's just us three right now. I am
Yeah.
looking to hire one or two more people. I'm kind of doing the interview process this week. I think I've got two or three people that I, you know, think would be a great fit, but you never know until you do the interview and stuff
Exactly.
and until they start working. So, my fingers are crossed, but
Yeah.
it's always good to have great help, and I
Exactly.
never turn down great help.
Exactly. Best of luck. Best of luck to you with that process. And what would you say that some skills that you look for when you're like doing the hiring process, specifically for your position, I guess, because obviously you are a bartender. You're gonna have to hire a bartender, I guess, and somebody that's gonna be able to work slots. So that's kind of a touchy subject legally, I guess. You probably need somebody of a certain age and certain
Yes.
qualifications.
Yeah, so, of course, you have to be 21 and up to work at a bar or, well, in South Beloit, to work at the bar
Yeah.
or to work at a slot parlor. And you also have to have the Illinois Bassett license that you can serve liquor. Those are the only, like, two hard requirements,
Yeah.
basically. Um, when I first started, I was definitely more open to building up someone
Yeah.
and being like, yes, which is pretty much what I've done with most people that have worked for me at this point. Teach them how to make the drinks, teach them, you really don't have to do that much maintenance on the slot machines. You clean them, and if they go down, you call a number.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm really trying to look for that rock star, someone that
Yeah.
is going to be great with people, obviously.
Yeah.
Someone that's going to care about the people that are coming in and the business in general, the community in general. And second, someone that can make good drinks.
Yeah.
And thirdly, someone that's not going to steal from me or lie
Exactly.
to me. And
That's a very important point in business. Sorry.
yeah, and I was going to say the scaling part. There is no scaling without great people that know great people. That is literally all I want, to fill my establishment with fantastic people that like to be there, spend money, have a good time, play slots, play darts, listen to music, anything.
Yeah. I've been to South Slots myself a couple of times. Obviously, I'm not of legal drinking age, so I haven't been able to enjoy it fully, I guess. But I've been able to go there a couple of times, and I've enjoyed the ambiance and just the overall like energy that it provides. I feel like it's a very high energy environment, and me and my friends always enjoy ourselves when we go there. We really thank you for providing that to us and reaching out to us because we wouldn't be able to even know about it most likely if you didn't reach out to us. So thank you for that.
Anytime. Like I said, I appreciate you guys, and I say this to everyone that comes in. These Sigma Chi guys, they can come in 30 deep, 40 deep, bring their friends, and all the brothers and all the friends are always well behaved. I don't know, especially in this area, how many places you can go where you have like 50 people and everyone is well behaved and nothing goes wrong and there are no accidents or injuries. Like, top-notch people.
Yeah, but we really thank you for that. And we really try to pride ourselves upon being people that try to avoid risks and being proactive, not reactive, with risks and just safety overall. It's because we throw parties at our house, obviously, and in order to do that, you have to make sure everybody's safe and taken care of. But kind of going back to a point that you made earlier, as far as your girlfriend, I think Nicole, she made the drinks for the menus, I think, and that's another thing that I noticed at South Slots is that it's very creative. It's in my eyes, I feel it's very evident that it's owned by a young, you know what I'm saying, by a young couple or young, you know what I'm saying, somebody that's young, and I feel like it shows in the drinks. I mean, I always see you posting on like LinkedIn and Instagram, all those things where you're like, the Marvel drinks, and I feel like that creativity shows that the owner cares and that he's constantly trying to update it and stay fresh. And I feel like that's something that a lot of business owners just in general should strive to do, is show their passion for their business and try to constantly be innovating it. So
Yes, yeah.
that's something that I've noticed.
Yeah, I just want to give people something to do.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, my gaming company at first, they're like, no, just put the focus on the slots. And I was like, I don't know. I feel like if I have a great bar atmosphere, people will want to stay here.
Yeah.
And if the slots are full, people will want to, stay at the bar and drink and hang out. And I think that the fun drinks, I tried to pair the drinks with like a bingo or a trivia type of thing at first. Um, but I'm not allowed to do that, so I had to stop. And the city is very nice, and it's been teaching a very green young man how to successfully run a business the right
Yeah.
way. So it's been a great learning experience, and it's been a tough learning experience, just how to navigate that,
Yeah.
how to keep it fresh, but still staying with all the guidelines. You know, the city of South Beloit doesn't like extra games for a slot parlor. So we spent a lot of emails going back and forth, just
Yeah.
discussing the laws and stuff like that. And the mayor's been helpful. The commissioners have been very helpful. Um, and I think, people appreciate the fun, just having fun and trying to keep it fresh.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of going off that, like, what challenges have you faced? Maybe just even at the start of your business, or even like nowadays, like just in general.
Um, the biggest surprise was that you have so many expectations. Like
Mhm.
I was, how do I say it? My customer base is not my father's and mother's, sister's, family's customer base.
Yep. And
Uh,
you're referring to the pizzeria, correct?
yes.
Yep.
So the first couple of weeks that I was open, there was what I like to call the artificial bloat of customers, where fantastic, you're open. It's very nice to see you. I'm your dad's friend. I'm your mom's friend.
Yeah.
They come in, say congratulations, which is fantastic. But that first month, when you kind of see that drop off,
Yeah.
and then you have to build it back up,
Yeah.
that was tough, in the sense that, like, I had an image of what I wanted to be, and I had a plan.
Yeah.
And plans never work out. Plans never work out. You got to be prepared for anything.
Yeah.
And 6 months is like the barrier. If you can make it past 6 months, you'll be fine. You'll make a living. And I've just realized that you just got to build connections.
Yeah.
They're not going to come back if there's someone, you know, creepy or weird,
Exactly. Yeah.
taking care of your business.
Yeah. Those are all great points, and I feel like that first point that you made, the artificial bloat, I think you said. I mean, that's a very I've never heard that term before, so I feel like that's something that the audience can take with them as far as like a business term, and I don't know, just I mean anything in general. I feel like maybe
Yeah, I think, people understand that maybe you have an idea, maybe you have like a small, like you want to make t-shirts or you want to start cooking and sell it. And you're like, I've got all these friends, all these people that want to buy, or you think want to buy. And you might start something and realize, oh, shoot, it's not what
yeah,
I thought. But again, it's like, it's that person's responsibility to get people on board. Maybe people aren't right on board, jumping on board, and you're not super busy at first. But yeah, like, of course, you got to
yeah,
build and gain people's trust. And I don't think a lot of business owners at first want to take that responsibility. Like, you can't take it personal. Like, people
yeah,
only have so much time, money,
exactly,
especially with like a slot parlor or a bar. I mean, across the street, there are places that have been there for 10 years, and Mactown has been there for like 40 years. And I just really appreciate when people come support,
yeah,
because there are so many different places.
yeah, for sure. And I feel like kind of going off one thing that you said, where it's like maybe some people might not realize at first. You kind of have to be honest and stuff like that. I feel like that's one thing that I've talked about in the past with my friends is that like the real change makers and the real like leaders or the innovators or anybody that has like a new idea that's like fresh, it kind of takes like time for some people to kind of catch on to like that wavelength, and that's the whole reason why it's unique and fresh is that nobody has thought of it before and nobody's ever done it before. So some people might doubt you or might not even see your vision, but the whole point is that you have your own vision. Like you, for example, might have had some like naysayers for South Slots, or even some people that might have told you like, oh, what do you know about like owning a bar or
Hmm.
blah blah. You didn't go to school for business or anything like that, And you made it this far, So I would say that you've done a pretty good job, So and like those people might have just been like I don't know, portraying their own like insecurities onto you and stuff like that, And I'm not saying that it was anybody specifically, but
Hmm.
you could probably have somebody in your mind that you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's always going to be that, and there
Yeah,
still are, people make minuscule comments. They'll make wide comments.
Yep.
Why does it look like this? Why do you have this type of bottle on the shelf instead of this size bottle? Like, I don't know, man. You're thinking too much about it, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And that's just one thing to keep in mind as like an innovator or somebody that's like a leader in a sense, just to be yourself. And like one thing that we talked about in the past platform was be courageously vulnerable. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't be afraid to take risks. Don't be afraid to be different from the crowd, because that ultimately might influence one or two people in the, you know what I'm saying, to follow your path or to even to pursue their own goals. Like if you tell somebody like, hey, I'm planning on doing this, they might think like, hey, I might be able to do whatever's in the back of my mind too. So you could be able to like plant that seed in somebody else's mind and be able to like empower them, influence them, and show them that anything's possible too. So I would just say keep pursuing your goals, anybody out there, and keep pushing yourself to be the best version of yourself.
When you were talking with Aaron, I liked how you touched upon you just got to be yourself, because one, people see right through all the fake.
Yep.
I remember, when I was rushing at Loyola and I decided to really put my heart into Sigma Chi, and a lot of my friends at the time rushed Sigma Chi, and we were all brothers, and it was fantastic. But the guys that really didn't make it, that we just kind of didn't vibe with, you could just tell that they were putting on a show.
Yep.
Or like, you rush one semester, and the next semester you might have a group of friends that wants to rush as well. And, person might be cool hanging out with 3 or 4 guys, and then for some reason they feel like they have to put on an image, and this happens with everyone, men, women, in all situations. But you're not going to get anywhere, like singing like Johnny Cash. You got to be you, I guess. That's might be a weird one. But
No, I understand that for sure. Kind of going off that, and I feel like at the end of the day, you might get somewhere being somebody else, but does it really feel good when you go home at the end of the day and you look in the mirror and you really think deep down, like, is this really who I am? Is this really what I want to do? Is this really the person that I want to portray myself as to get to where you're going to? Because I feel like that's kind of like, for lack of less words, I guess, like a way to like of selling your soul in a sense. You're really like not really staying true to yourself. And that's one thing that we really say to all of our people that are rushing our fraternity at Beloit College, Sigma Chi, is stay true to yourself, because we recruited you and we want you for yourself. We don't want anybody else. We want you to be yourself. We want you to stay true to yourself and to just be honest with yourself. And that's basically it. Kind of going off of that, have you ever thought about like opening up another salad slots or another business, or do you have any of those ideas planned in the back of your head that maybe like looking back at this platform 10 years from now, you might be like, dang, I that actually did come to fruition,
Yeah. In terms of like, I have so many things I would love to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I was saying, realistic things. If I had to open up another place, I would include slots, but I would, more importantly, add food.
Yeah.
Just because it's, I know food. People love food, and food just keeps people places longer. I think statistically, it's like if you have a slot parlor with food, a person is going to stay 50 minutes longer every time they order something.
Yeah.
So fries, 50 more minutes. A burger, 50 more minutes. It's smart, and again, something for people to do, and it keeps them happy.
Yeah, for sure. And ironically, something that I've been finding myself doing a lot is I've been watching like Bar Rescue on YouTube. Okay. Have you ever seen that or no?
Of course.
Okay. I don't know if you have or not. I don't know if that's like a common thing to like, like the bar scene, I guess. But I kind of watch it because I'm like a fan of like, I don't know, like the Kitchen Nightmares, like all those things. I mean, that's a bad thing to be a fan of, I guess. But being a son of a business owner like my dad, I like seeing like other businesses, how they're ran, kind of like even like getting inspiration of what not to do, of what to do, because some businesses do have some good ideas and there's some have horrible ideas. And like, it's really, I feel like that show is like kind of like really good example, like trying to like see through the bad employees, because I feel like John Taffer, I believe his name is, he's really good at pointing out the bad employees, and he kind of fires them all the time. Like you said, you want to make sure you hire somebody that's of good quality for salad slots, and I'm not saying that you won't, but it's just kind of going off of that. But I've been finding myself watching that a lot, and yeah, I feel like you've done a great job. And one thing that they talk about on there is that if people eat when they're drinking, they'll be able to drink more, they'll be able to sober up more, and they'll obviously spend more money on the food, and they'll stay there longer. So I feel like it's all positive, kind of going off that, have you thought about opening up, or like even like, sorry, not opening up, buying space next to salad slots or near it, or something like that to maybe create some food type of vibe?
No. So there is there was a staffing agency that I mentioned earlier that was right next to South Slots, and now
Yeah.
it's no longer there. That could have been an option. Like I could have, talked to the landlord and see
Yeah.
what I could have done. But I think it's good to focus all my stock into this one place,
Yeah.
what I have now. And I think the place next door, might become like a, how do I say, cryotherapy type place if it ends up rolling the way
Yeah.
some people want it to.
Yeah.
Which will be really great for the area. There's only like 5 cryotherapy machines in like Illinois or something like that. So yeah, South Slots one is good for now.
For now, okay,
Yeah.
for sure. What advice do you have to anybody who's trying to just start a business in general currently?
Start now. Like I said earlier, plans don't work, but you're never going to get anywhere if you don't plan. I don't know, write down your goals. Um, Also, in a way, like kind of keep it close to you. Like you don't have to go tell everyone what you're doing. I think sometimes it's even better to just see how far you can go by yourself, and especially if it's something that's big, and you want to,
Yeah.
make this business, chop it up, see how it is after a week, see how it is after 2 weeks, see how it is after a month, and keep going. Start early, and definitely if you think you have like an image that you're going for that no one else is doing, yeah, keep pushing for it. People are not going to understand at first.
Yeah, exactly. And kind of going off what you said, like it's important to keep those dreams or those, I don't know, aspirations close to you. It's sometimes even best not to share with certain people because they could kind of like not destroy them, but like let's say like dampen them or rain on them in a sense, because they might, like we talked about in the past, paint their own insecurities on you because they might not have had the same resources that you have. They might not have the same ideologies or like perspective that you have on what you can accomplish or even the confidence that you can accomplish. So I think it's something that's important to, like you said, keep those within you until you maybe get the ball rolling a little bit and then kind of use them as support rather than like a crutch to get started, if that makes sense. And going off that, I feel like it's very important to use those people around you, but I don't know. Sometimes it can be tough because they can I don't know. They can try to like not motivate you in a sense.
Yeah.
they can serve in the reverse purpose.
There's definitely, like, people might not think there are other people out there that wish you bad intent or want to see you fail, but there are.
Yeah,
And
unfortunately.
even like grown people that you
Yeah.
do business with, grown people that you don't do business with, that like don't even know anything about you. There are people that are going to just not like you for some reason, and you have to, kind of shut your eyes to it,
Yeah.
and forget about it.
Yeah.
Just keep pushing forward.
Yeah, and one thing that I want to say with my past statement was maybe don't project it out into the world, like by saying it to a bunch of people, to all your friends, to random people at the store, especially like if, like Sal said, if it's something that's like new and fresh, that's unique, you don't want anybody to see your idea, obviously, or like trademark it or blah, blah, whatever it may be, God forbid. But I feel like the best thing to do is really like embody it and like feel it within your body, feel how it feels like to, for example, me, like when I wanted to start this platform, think about how it would feel to be in this studio, doing this right now. Think about how it would feel like talking. Think about how I would go about talking. I think that's a really important thing. Like, it could be anything. Like, if you're an athlete, think about how it would feel being on the pitch, being on the football field, doing anything like that. And I feel like that could really help you just be able to set that into fruition and set that into motion in the future, and it'll give you more confidence in whatever your goal is.
Mm-hmm.
You have something to say? Sorry.
I was going to say, I like the term manifestation, but maybe
Yeah.
not in the, stereotypical sense.
Yeah.
If you manifest it, you see it, you practice it, you live it out, and eventually that image, will come to you. And I
Yeah.
also think a little bit of, the more you get the ball rolling, the more you open yourself up to something, the more it will come to you.
Yep.
And that's not magic. That's you putting the stock in 1% every day, and people noticing in the positive way.
Yeah, and it's really just about planting the seed. I feel like if you want to make a contact with somebody, reach out to them. If you want to, you know what I'm saying, do anything,
Yeah.
just email that person, make a phone call, go in person and talk to them. Kind of how I did with Sal. I had Sal's business card. That was it. I just went in person. I'm like, hey, what's the worst that could happen? He freaking kicks me to the curb. No, I'm just kidding. But like, the worst thing he could do is say no, and that's basically it, But it ended up coming out positive, and now here we are to this day. And Lord knows what the future holds, you know. And that could be said with anything. That could be said with like an athlete that wants to go play college sport. You could email the college coaches. That's what I was doing at a point, you know. I got a lot of feedback. Could be positive, negative. You know what I'm saying, neutral, like saying like, oh, we have our position filled. You know, it could be like, oh, we want you, come visit us. It could be, you know what I'm saying, all that stuff. But really, in any aspect of your life, just nothing will happen unless you start doing it, unless you put the energy forward, unless you take that first step forward and that first big leap. And I feel like that's something that's really important for all of the change makers, leaders, and anybody that wants to just do anything in their life is just start doing it. Like Sal said, like with the business. If you want to start a business, just start doing it. Even just start like drawing the logo, start drawing the layout of how you would want to do it. And this might sound really corny, but like I feel like I used to do that as a kid in Minecraft. Like I used to like build houses and stuff like that. You know, like, oh, what do my future house look like? And it's kind of the same way. You could literally like that's what architects do is they sketch up different things and they see what it would look like and they mock it up. Oh, how do you think about this? Positive, negative, neutral, you know? And then from there on, they continue. So I feel like ironically, it's kind of like Minecraft, but like, you know what I'm saying? I like to think that I would like to live life on Minecraft creative mode. That's all I got to say. But aside from that, yeah, just really, really just start on your goals and put that energy into the world. And I feel like the world will put that energy back to you. Aside from that, how have you been able to connect with your community with South Slots?
Community, I interact with community every day just when people come in, but obviously beyond that, it's getting to know people, you know, making sure that you're actually paying attention to people, being present. And, you know, that could be hard sometimes when you're there all day and maybe you don't know this person or you don't have anything service level to connect with. And beyond that, you know, you have to go the extra mile trying to reach out to businesses, you know, organizations, host events, you know, make it worth it for people. And I'm trying to do a lot more of that into this next year in the sense like I want to do an art show. I want to
that's awesome.
Host a cruise night where people bring their cars and, you know, have a contest and stuff like that. It just is a lot of administrative work. It's tough.
I know that the car scene is very huge, especially in Chicago. I know we're a little bit like an hour away from Chicago, or like 2 hours away, I guess. But if you could work out like a car show, I know that that'd be a very popular thing to bring people in. You know, use the slots. Maybe some people could drink, but they'd have to have a ride, obviously. You know, but yeah, you could probably get some people in because I know that like for example, where I'm from, there's this very popular restaurant called Strats. It's like a hot dog and like they have like hot dog fries and all that stuff, and they have like hundreds of cars that show up and they park across the street because it gets so filled, but like all the people go there and then like the main cars quote unquote are parked in Strats, so like the people go up to Strats and they like see the cars but then like, oh, I'm hungry, or like what else are we gonna get to eat, and they go in and they get some food, you know. And then so I feel like I don't know, maybe that's a good idea that you can incorporate, like you said, the car show kind of. I think that's a great idea for your business.
Yeah, Shorty's Kitchen had coordinated a cruise night, you know, when I first opened, and she had included me in on that. And the first one was crazy. And the second one, there was rain, so not only it was cold, but a lot of people, like hundreds of people, you know. And again, if like my parents, the community, I wouldn't be here without them. And now it's my chance, you know, my chance to give back. And if I just don't do anything, it's going to eat at me. You know, I have to. I have this opportunity, this space, this platform, you could say. I got to use it, you know.
It's really a privilege, a God-given privilege that we all have. And Sal and I kind of took a little tour around the studio that we have here, the Beloit CELEB studio, and I was telling him how it's such a privilege that I'm a Spanish and education major, but I'm still able to come here and do all these media study things. And he was saying how at Loyola Chicago that like if you weren't a media studies major, you probably wouldn't be able to do all this stuff, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and I could be ignorant on that, but I just don't think there was a space for, you know, students to do this. And again, I could be ignorant.
They might not have advertised it well, though.
Might not have advertised it well, and if they did have something like this, it definitely was not as nice. I mean, this is fantastic.
Yeah, we are very privileged for sure, and I'm very thankful for all the staff here, Susan, Jonathon, Brian, Morello. Shout out to all of them. Thank you so much. This wouldn't be possible without you.
Thank you, Susan.
Yeah, for sure. And so in what ways do you think that you try to impact your community?
I think the most important thing for me is just to provide. I don't want to say like I'm trying to be like a role model, like that you have to follow exactly, but just more positivity out there,
Yeah.
like more positive action. Um, you know, I like to work out. I like to eat healthy. I like to make sure that, the people I love are going to be here, a week from now, 2 weeks from now,
Yeah.
Years down the line,
Yeah, that's very
staying
important
safe.
for sure. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Do you have anything else you want to add?
no,
Or no?
I was going to
All
say,
right.
go ahead.
Sorry. It's because it kind of leads me into my next section, which is like the reflection and verse of the day. So I kind of want to make sure if you have anything else before we kind of go on to the next subject. So for those of you who don't know, this kind of like a little like prayer part or like little like reflection part. So I just kind of want to start off with like a little prayer. So, in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. I just like to come to you, Heavenly Father, asking for you to come grant comfort and love to anyone who might feel lonely, unwelcome, or even hurt during these holiday seasons. I ask that you lead them the right way and that you guide them down the path toward success, whatever that may mean to them. Thank you, God. Amen. Today's verse of the day is Psalms 47:1. Clap your hands, all you nations. Shout to God with cries of joy. Amen. And if you are interested in receiving the daily verse yourself, you can simply download the Bible app on the App Store. God bless. So, now that leads us to our next section of the platform. So, kind of talking about your hobbies a little bit, I guess. I saw you like, or that you enjoy and like dabble in these areas, I guess, art, poetry, journalism. Kind of where do these passions come from, or where do they begin?
Ooh, where do they come from? I think they come from and begin from the same place, and that's just enjoyment and interest.
Yeah.
Art was definitely my first love, drawing since I can remember, and loving to tell stories.
Yeah.
I've learned as I, grew up that I love storytelling in any aspect. And poetry is along the same lines. It's like you're telling a story, and what I really like about poetry that I think most people kind of forget about nowadays is that, you can condense all this meaning into a few lines or, a few paragraphs. Everything is much more than what it is on the surface. And obviously there are many different styles of poetry, but I think the best poems have this condensed meaning that, not that you have to like dig through, but I don't know. I just think that's the art form. You're like taking this big bunch of feelings or a situation or an everyday scenario and like condensing it into like an idea.
Yeah.
And poetry writing. I like to make short stories and stuff like that, illustrating books. I'm trying to get a coloring book published.
That's awesome.
But Amazon doesn't publish coloring books, so I did all the work, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
Blocked, no coloring books. So just whatever I feel like that week, I'm trying to pursue something different all the time.
Yeah, so what have you been like working on recently as far as like art, anything like that, journalism, poetry?
I was going to say journalism, I wouldn't really say I'm a wannabe journalist in the sense that I would love to, like, I write articles on stuff that I'm interested in and stuff like that, but I definitely am not, like, going out right now investigating stuff and writing pieces on it. And I only say that because I don't want to take away from the people doing fantastic work in that field. In terms of art, I was working on the coloring book, and that was, like, based on an Italian restaurant. It was like, oh, who's working in the Italian restaurant? You got the cooks, you got the pizza maker, you got the waiters and the host, and showing a whole bunch of different food. So there was that. That took some time. And now I really don't have anything, like, per se that I'm working on. I just got a whole bunch of different canvases that Nicole got me for Christmas. Thanks, Nicole.
Yeah.
So that's a push, push to do something.
Yeah.
I still, like, have this focus on making, like, a comic book, and I have some ideas. It's like, do I make this idea the comic, or do I make this idea the story, or do I make this idea the short? It's like I have all these ideas, and they could be anything. I just have to keep working it out until one of them is pushed in its own direction.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Best of luck with that.
Thank you.
Um, I know you talked to me about one thing that you kind of want to start, which was like Beyond the Bar. Do you kind of want to talk about that a little bit, maybe, or no?
Yeah, so we were talking about just starting earlier, and for those listening, I am a father. My son Giuseppe is uh, is a year old, and I've had all these things that I've wanted to do all my life. One of them, you know, to be an artist, to get a book published, um, to start a YouTube channel, and like to be a YouTuber. Like ever since YouTube started, golden age of YouTube, with watching it on my freaking little flip phone, my LG chocolate or whatever it was called.
LG chocolate.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's been something I've always wanted to do, and I have been a coward, just not doing it, not putting in the work. I've planned, I've overplanned, and it's become to the point where the planning is an excuse. So I finally started the YouTube channel, started Beyond the Bar,
Nice.
and it really stems from the idea of like after college, in college you have this built-in community. And as an English major, all I was doing was sitting in a circle and talking to people about what we read and what we
Yeah.
were discussing. And it always led to, the greater world that's happening today. And after college, that, I feel like people feel that change. Like you don't have that anymore. And so Beyond the Bar, I'm at the bar all the time. So I figured instead of people coming to see me and talk to me, I want to make Beyond the Bar a place where I can talk to people about themselves that I really can't do at work when I'm at the bar. And that's about it. So there's Beyond the Bar, and then the YouTube channel. I like make the little YouTube shorts, and I put out like my favorite video games of 2023. It's like
Yeah.
that's what I do. I play video games. I have fun, and I just want to share that. Like I said,
Yeah.
my son. I don't know. I want to be here and for as long as I can be. But what if I'm not in 5 years, 10 years? Like at least this is a way that my family can see a more full side of myself.
Yeah.
And like we were talking about earlier, like it's almost 2024. If you're afraid to be yourself, you better have a good reason to be. Like maybe your life's on the line, but like take the leap to at least be yourself and do the things you want to do. You'll be happier, and people will, appreciate what you're doing and the real you.
Yeah. People will be receptive to it, and if they're not, then they probably aren't comfortable with themselves either. Because
Yep.
most of the time, people that people that are themselves will respect other people who are themselves, even if they are odd, different, unique. Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like nobody will ever, do you know what I'm saying, diss anybody else for being themselves. At least I wouldn't, I guess, personally. But kind of to the next question, like who has motivated you to kind of become the best version of yourself?
I want to first say my brother Mike. He's my younger brother, 4 years younger.
Yeah.
And he's a film major at NIU, and he's almost done with college. But he's been motivating me because ever since he was like in middle school, he's been making films, and he's been talking to people on Reddit, and he gets his stuff on, the main page of Reddit because people see and people love his stuff. Like,
Yeah, that's
and I'm
awesome.
like, if my younger brother can do it, then I can at least, put my effort in. Like he's putting his effort in to do what he loves. I have to put my effort in. And if I don't, I can't complain and I can't be sad. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Yep.
can't have the regret, which I would. So he pushes me. My dad pushes me. Oh my God, my dad pushes me more than anyone else. And he doesn't have to say anything. It's just him being there,
Yeah.
And, my son, obviously, just the idea of like, right now he's with his mom and he's spending some time over with Nicole's sister, and they're going to do Spring Sing tomorrow. So they're all over there right now.
Yeah.
But when he was born, I mean, I used to do all these things. I used to just have a laundry list of things to do every single day just because, like, I thought I needed to. Like, my priorities have to be this, 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 and this. And then when he was born, it, like, all flushed away.
Yeah.
Like, holy crap, that stuff literally did not matter 1%
Yeah.
And now, after, a year, it's like my priorities are built up in a way that I am more efficient, more happy with my time. And, my son is a fantastic child,
Yeah.
and he's a very, that's a very easy motivator, looking at that kid and being like, oh, yeah, we're working. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
you got
that's
to go to
awesome.
work. Keep going.
Yeah. So like, what would you say that you would say? Like, sorry, I had like two questions in mind. How would you say that it feels to become a father recently?
It's life-changing. I It's life-changing in the sense that I've never had an experience like this when you hold your child. Like before he was born, the night before he was born, I was like, the only time I thought this, I'm like, what if my child doesn't like me? What is he going to look like? What's he going to sound like? And my God, seeing him being born, that was, being a dad is like the easiest thing. Being a dad and a partner while your wife is pregnant is the easiest thing. I feel so bad for women and what they go through, even if it's a beautiful thing. Um, so like seeing him born and seeing his little personality, and then like giving
Yeah.
him a hug and holding him is like warmth, like a warmth that, you know, when you like hug your girlfriend or something, like, yes, you love her so much and there's a warmth there, but the warmth of a child, like, it's so different. I've never experienced anything like it. And, it's pretty cool. I don't know. There's so much I could say about it, honestly.
Yeah.
You know,
What advice would you give to any young man or maybe like a soon to be father?
I was gonna say last time, it changes you in the sense that, like, you get these new feelings, new responsibilities and stuff, but it doesn't change you in the sense that, like, your life is still exactly the same. Like, I still, like, like, if you drink a lot of beer and all of a sudden you have a kid, it's not like you're magically gonna be like, oh, I'm not gonna drink beer. Like, you're still gonna have all the same wants and, like, desires, urges,
Yeah.
like, you're still gonna have that. Don't get it twisted. You still just have to, like, in a way, if you want, I want to, like, be better. I don't want to be, the type of person that, like, I just want to run great on all cylinders, efficient, great for my family.
Yep.
Keep pushing forward, be a good example to them, stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. What would you say that three values that you hold close to you as a man are?
Yes, I knew this one was coming, and I've been thinking about it. I think you have to be able to take accountability.
For
I
sure.
think that every single person has, can, and will justify their actions, even if they suck. Everyone can do it. It's an easy thing to do. Take some accountability for your actions.
Yeah.
So, you know, taking accountability for yourself. Loyalty is a very big thing for me, but I would say like loyalty and respect in one.
Yeah.
Like if you care for someone, you're not going to go behind their back and do something against them,
Exactly.
and you're going to have the respect to, like maybe you have the thought like, oh, that person sucks, like it would be blah blah blah. Like, okay, thought is a thought, but like the action matters. Don't, turn your back on someone. You got to have loyalty and you got to be respectful.
Yeah.
And the third one, I don't know. This is tough. I want to say, like, just you have to be, like, you can't be afraid to jump. You gotta do it. You gotta be active,
Yeah.
and you gotta keep pushing. Like I've
Just be
been saying.
ambitious.
Ambitious, yes.
Yep.
Yeah, my old football coach in high school, he always used to give these speeches, and it was like freezing cold October. We're like sophomores, like this playoff game the next day. It doesn't matter. And he's talking and he's talking and he's like, you gotta shoot for the stars. And if you fall and you don't miss them, you'll hit the moon or something like that. And we're like, Coach, that sucks. But it is good advice,
Yeah.
It's like reach high, and at least you'll get somewhere if you got some high ambition and you can work towards it and you don't stab people in the back.
Yeah, exactly. And the first thing you said was accountability. I feel like in order to be accountable, I feel like a lot of people need to be more self-aware. I feel like that's one thing that a lot of people lack is being self-aware, whether they're in the wrong, whether they're not motivated, whether they're not putting their best foot forward, or even just with relationships, school, any of their personal goals, just being self-aware, knowing that, hey, I need to do better for myself. Hey, I need to change up what I'm doing, whether it be my circle, my daily routine, all of those things. I feel like being self-aware and is a very important trait for people to have. Um, but going off of that, what would you say that some traits? Sorry, what would you say that some important? What would you say that are some important traits for like a leader to have?
Okay. Do you guys do this in Sigma Chi? Where, like, if you got a new guy coming up, you have to ask him a question. You go, "What's the difference between a leader and a manager?"
No, we don't
No.
actually.
Oh,
That's a good question though.
it's a great one. We used to do it for everyone. But and your question was like, "What's a good leader?" Right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. What like makes a good leader basically?
What makes a
Sorry, I
good
kind
leader?
of fumbled it a little bit.
No, you're good. Lead from the front. You
Yeah.
have to, like, a restaurant, for example. When I was working, as a teenager, I knew everything you're supposed to do, everything the way it's supposed to go. Cook the pizza like this, make the pizza like this. In practice, people do things so many different ways. You have to back off and let people
Yeah.
work how they want sometimes, and you have to really choose your battles as
Yeah,
a
for
as
sure.
a as a leader. Like, just because something isn't done the exact way you want it, like, maybe it's done better than the way you want it, and
Yeah.
maybe it's keeping people happier, and it's easier for them to do it that way. You have to lead from the front and just put yourself in people's shoes, and you have to give people chances. My dad, I learned from him. He's given so many people second chances, third chances, and I think that comes from him, like, leading from the front in the sense that, like, he, like, knows people can be in a tough spot, and that just means maybe they're in a tough spot. Tomorrow they might be better.
Yeah.
Tomorrow they can get themselves out of it.
Yeah.
And as a kid, I definitely think I was, like, too judgmental. I wouldn't, like, again, like, you have to lead from the front. You can't just be like, maybe you can just be plopped in a position and just kind of, you know, make everyone do their job and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's always people centric.
Yeah. I feel like that's very important for sure. Being able to relate to people, being able, like you said, put yourself in their shoes. I think those are all very important traits that a leader must have in order to be able to like galvanize the troops, to be able to show them that we care about you, and it's a we, not an I type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And going off that, like one thing that you said was lead from the front, and one thing that comes to mind is that like being a leader is sometimes lonely because there are only a select few leaders. So don't be discouraged. Really, one thing that I've learned both in Matt Laszlo's class, who's something that I hope to have in the future, and Gregory Nelson, is that good leaders delegate.
Yes.
And delegating means that you have confidence in your peers, in your coworkers, in your partners, that you can hand them this task that you might be overwhelmed with, and that you have confidence that they could take it and do it for you, or help you, give you a certain perspective, different, do you understand, feedback that could be valuable. And I think that's definitely very important. But being a leader can be very lonely at times because there might only be one leader, there might only be three leaders. Like, so it can be very lonely. So try to have that support system, have that close, tight knit circle that you can have around you that you very, very much trust and that you can rely on and delegate with, because that's very important. Do not overwhelm yourself with too many things, too many aspirations, or even being a leader, like trying to do too much at once. Because in a sense, that's selfish because you're kind of showing that you don't trust the other people, that you don't believe in them maybe. So I feel like it might not always be that selfish perspective, but some people might not have even like been given this delegation perspective. I know I was one of those people. I've always thought like, oh, I have to do everything by myself, but no, it's not. You're not like weak or stupid or, you know what I'm saying, like any of the above for wanting help. If anything, you're smart. Like, it's like getting a tutor in school.
Mm-hmm.
You're not dumb for getting a tutor in school. If anything, you're smart because you're self-aware, like I said, and you are able to take that self-awareness and apply it and avoid and be proactive instead of reactive, whatever the situation is. So
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. And I assume, like, growing up with parents owning a restaurant too, that you saw like a successful business. Like, again, your parents can run the show, but what if your parents get sick? You got to step in, and people have to step in when necessary, and there will be a time when it is necessary. I've always said it, like, a business is not a business if it's not repeatable. If I leave the bar and Cheyenne goes in and she can't do it, then it's not a business. It's one guy running, his own thing. Delegating is so important, and like that's why even for me, like I've got the baby right now, and
Yeah, for sure.
I need to build my own team. Like I'm building the Avengers,
Yeah,
I'm building the Bar Avengers,
exactly.
and it's fun. It's fun. It's good.
Yeah, that's awesome for sure.
It's tough.
Yeah, nothing like I don't know. Rome wasn't built in a day. Nothing that will last will be easy. So my next question is kind of like, what advice would you give to a 10-year-old Sal or even your son?
Okay, 10-year-old Sal, I think I would tell 10-year-old Sal to always stay proud of the things I liked. So I always liked Dragon Ball and
Yeah.
drawing and karate and writing stories, and I was very proud of that until maybe until like 7th grade, until like that
Yeah.
stuff became a bit uncool, I guess, again, until like mid high school. And I'm like, oh, everyone likes the same stuff I already like anyway.
Yeah.
I just shut myself out from the stuff I liked for no reason. Yeah, I would tell him that. My son, I feel like my son and I already are very different. I was a very timid, shy kid. He's
Yeah.
very bubbly and happy all the time.
Yeah.
So for him, 10 years old, I would say try a lot of things. Do what you want.
Yeah.
Don't let people push you around, because then they'd have to talk to me. What else? Be nice to people.
Yeah.
Shoot, again, I could go on for a lot. I'll end it there.
For sure. And so 2 things that I kind of got from that was just kind of don't really worry about other people's perceptions of you, and like what they think of you.
No one cares.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody really cares, and the people that do care, like we said in the past, are those are the people that worry about other people's perceptions in the first place. The ones that are worried about, oh, what do people worry about me? Because the other people that are themselves are too busy being themselves to worry about what other people think. But the second thing that you said, like to your son, like you said, be nice to people. That's kind of like the common theme that I've had. Like try to portray in the platform is kind of like lead with love. Just like within like relationships, within family, within friends, within coworkers, peers, whether it be school, work. Just try to really be understanding of other people's circumstances. Just know everybody's fighting their own individual battles every day, whether it be financial, whether it be spiritual, as in like a loss of the family, separation of a family member, whether it be statewide or even like countrywide. Some people might be a whole sea across from somebody else. So that could be very tough for people to have to deal with. So just keep that in mind for everybody else that's, I'm saying, out there. Just lead with love. Where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years?
Okay, well, I'd be 30 in 5 years, 31. At 31, I hope that I would have either sold South Slots and maybe moved somewhere else, or re-signed my lease. So whatever, I want to like have a nice house.
Yeah.
Maybe have another child. I hope the YouTube channel kicks off. Like, all the stuff I'm doing right now, I hope I'm still doing them in a way in 5 years, just with more people beside me and with more to show for it, in the sense. Like, hopefully all the work I put in for 5 years, I have a lot to show for it.
Most definitely.
And then 10 years, oh my God, 35, 36, 37, oh my God. I hope I'm retired.
That's an awesome goal to have.
I hope
for sure.
I'm retired. I know a lot of people in this area that, like, my dad didn't go to high school. My uncles didn't go to high school. They dropped out, and started working.
Yeah. And
my best friend Lance, his dad's been retired since I think 36 or 44. And, he's so bored. And I don't want to say bored in the bad way, but he likes to work. He just finds random jobs to do, and he does them well, and he hangs out with his family and his dog. Is that not a fantastic life to have?
Yeah, for sure.
I would like to just work so hard that I have the ability to not work, but then still do something.
Yeah, dabble in different hobbies and just different areas that you might have not explored in life, right?
Yeah, if I'm 31 and I don't know how to golf well, I failed at life. I need to learn how to golf.
Yeah, for sure. So future Sal, that's a note to you. That's part of the reason why we have this platform, is to be able to record it, for the very least, for the people that are on here, so they can kind of come back and see how far they've come from their future goals and aspirations or anything else that they have planned. So thank you for sharing. Do you have any advice for the younger generation of leaders in general?
Um, Lead from the front.
Yep.
Uh, don't be afraid to stick up for yourself and do what you want. Like, and I mean that in the most broad sense. Do what you want. Doing what you want means that you will have to face consequences. But again, do with that, with whatever you think it means. Do what you want and live your life.
Yep. And kind of going off that, I want to say one thing of my own, one of my own thoughts, I guess. There's nothing wrong with saying the truth and hurting other people's feelings. This is my own thought, because when you say the truth, it might be harsh, it might be raw, but at the end of the day, you know that you're doing the right thing. You know that you are speaking your own truth. You know that you are, do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Doing what's best for yourself, and that when you go to, and you, most importantly, you know that you won't be hurting yourself by holding that in. So I feel like that's something that's very important for the audience to take, is that, like, it's more important to, in a sense, quote unquote, hurt somebody else with the truth than hurt yourself by holding it in and not speaking your own truth. So that's one thing that I want to give to the audience. Do you have any other closing thoughts or comments?
Yeah, I'll add on that. I think in the art world and writing in general, you always have to share. I mean, you should share. You should be getting critiqued, and you learn how to get critiqued. A criticism, especially when it's pointed in the right direction, is the right thing to hear.
Yeah.
And again, like, you can, as a person, justify that everything that people tell you is annoying or they're wrong. But hey, man, sometimes people are trying to help you out, and you should take the advice.
Yeah, exactly. And like another perspective, like that's a very thank you for sharing that, because I wouldn't have that perspective obviously myself as like an art or I'm saying journalism perspective for peer feedback. But kind of the way that I was sharing it was like, if you see somebody doing the wrong thing, or if you see something that's wrong, like, there's nothing wrong with standing up and hurting somebody's feelings, like, and being true to yourself, because that's what you're meant to do, is to speak your truth, to be the best version of yourself, to, at the end of the day, be able to lay down in your bed and say, I've done what I could do, you know? And I feel like that's very important, very important. I feel like that's a pleasure, like a pleasure and like a luxury that a lot of people don't have, is that speaking your mind is very important, and that you should be able to go home and have a free conscience. You shouldn't be thinking, oh, what if this, what if that? Just, you know what I'm saying? Just, I feel like just do, like you said. So we're kind of going to wrap it up here. Do you have anything else, or is that it?
If I had to do like a little plug, I would say check out my YouTube,
for sure.
Salvatore Ocello. It's just my name. And come visit at Sal Slots if you're ever in the South Beloit area, 14475 De La Tour Drive, South Beloit. It's right across from South Beloit High School and right next to Shorty's Kitchen. Melissa makes great comfort food. Definitely some of the best in the area. Definitely support her. She makes pies. She can make a pie, like prep it in like 5 to 6 minutes, and then obviously she has to cook it. But she's amazing.
Yeah.
And thank you to my family. Thank you to South Beloit community. Thank you to you, Adrian, and Beloit College.
Thank you.
And everyone.
Yeah, for sure. And
enjoy Christmas.
Yeah. Yep, thank you for that. And I feel like it's very important to support local businesses, so be sure to go support South Slots, all the other neighboring businesses. It's sometimes best to get away from the big chains, you know, and be able to support these small businesses. Like I said, we both come from small business owners, families. Like Sal shared, his dad didn't graduate high school, I believe. My dad only went to school until 4th grade, and he had to get out and go work on the farm, unfortunately, in Mexico. And he ended up moving here to the U.S. when he was 14 years old by himself. So that's another story that we can get into another day. But yeah, like we said, we are both products of small business owners. So by supporting them, you allow people like us to be able to have a platform like this, to be able to do the things that we want to do, to be able to pursue our goals, to be able to hopefully change communities, to be able to leave a lasting mark on this earth. So we thank you guys for supporting the small businesses. I very much encourage that. To kind of end off, I just want to thank you, Sal, for your time today and for sharing your stories and knowledge with our audience.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yep. Hopefully we can use this platform to empower others and inspire the next generation of leaders. And I just wanted to thank anyone who has made it this far in the video. Just know that I truly appreciate you and that I'm rooting for your success in any aspect that you're hoping to obtain it in. I'll be praying for each and every one of you, and I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. Thank you for your time, and this was the Imperishable Consciousness platform. God bless.